Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the Black Robe podcast. It's your co-host, Anzhane Slaughter, here with the lovely Carol Mitchell. Oh, man, how are you doing, Carol?
I'm so happy to be seeing you live because we took a little break in July, and we were showing the Freedom Summer Symposium highlights, which Amari Amili was fabulous, and the
Jamaica
design
Scott
challenge,
was
and
fabulous.
Conrad
Reverend Yearwood,
Webster.
I mean, come on,
I
was
know.
fabulous.
I know, but I guess we have to wake up out of that dream and get back to reality now because we have work to do on the ground. And
So true.
Today is a great way for us to come back to the podcast studio because you have brought a really special guest.
Yes, I have. Well, you guys all know that we're currently undergoing a mayoral election in every city. So if you haven't received your voter pamphlets, please go to your local voter registration office. You can go to the Secretary of State, email, a website to make sure that you can get that voter pamphlet. Everybody, we got to vote. The IBJ supports civic engagement, especially from young people. This is something that we can't fool around with, right? We need to be engaged, and we need to, because the leadership makes a huge impact on our daily lives. This is local government, so you're going to see the impact right away. So with that being said, today we have the mayoral candidate running for office in the city of Kent. She's a Black woman. She's a mentor of mine and has been for years. I tell you, since I was maybe in middle or high school, she's been getting me out there in the community to advocate for justice. With further ado, let's bring on Miss Dawn Bennett.
Here she comes.
There she is. Hey, Dawn, how are you doing?
I'm really, really good. My dog, I have a new puppy pit bull, and she chewed my glasses, so I found my other glasses. So I'm really good right now.
Good, you can see. That's important.
I can see.
Yes, I was just telling our audience how you've been just so influential in my life for a long period of time. I think back to middle school, if not earlier, working in the Seattle parks and the community centers, and then helping me out, with some advocacy work, right, as I got older. Can you tell our audience just a little bit more about you and why you're so energized to help the community?
So, first of all, I'm sure this is a lot of Black folk. I love our people. I just love us. We have come through so much, right? And I am standing on the shoulders of so many who have passed on, right? That it is my duty to give back. There was so much given to me as a young, growing Black girl from Youngstown, Ohio. I had to give back because if not for those folks who mentored me, I wouldn't be running for mayor. I wouldn't have my job. I wouldn't fight for justice in my job. I would just be, I don't know what I would be doing. But our ancestors have made us mega strong. And my goal is to use that all the time and to make sure and ensure that our young folks like you knew that what we have is magical. It's magic.
It really is. Black Girl Magic. We got Black Girl Magic on this call today.
I know. We had that before the hashtag.
We should have trademarked it back in 1975. We would be making money right now. But Dawn, this is our Crystal Stair Story portion of the podcast. And so one of the things we like to know is a little more about your journey and how did you come to be in Kent, Washington, running for mayor right now? Can you just spend a few minutes just telling us a little bit about your background and what is your story? Because we know there might have been some splinters and nails in that set of crystal stairs.
Mm-hmm.
You know it. I was, my mother, was a single mother with 8 babies. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so Anjane, you're frozen. Okay, so my mother raised us with so much fierceness, being a single mother, that I was like, I have to do whatever she says, right? So she put me, I don't know about the other brothers and sisters, because there were artists and there were models and there were athletes, and there's 8 of us. And so she put me on a trajectory of being a businesswoman like herself. And so I was in college. I played basketball in college. I went to Bellevue Community College on a basketball scholarship. And then she put me on a trajectory to go to UW and do more. I was accepted to the University of Washington. I was supposed to go. But right when I was on that pathway that my mom had laid out, she got us, we were on Mercy. She moved up like the Jeffersons. If any of you young people on the, you guys know, we moved on up. We
know a little something about the Jeffersons.
Yeah, just
the
look it up on
something.
Look it up on Tubi.
Yes, look that up, because it was
TV1.
Right. So we moved up just like everybody else, right? And for a single Black mother with 8 babies, that was phenomenal to me. It was phenomenal. So I'm like, I'm gonna do what she does. So she put me on the same trajectory. She's a college graduate, right? So what happened was I started hearing about our babies dropping out of school, Black and brown babies. I'm like, no, this cannot be, right? The parents are so good, right? In the 70s, it was all about education. It was in the music. Aretha was singing to us. It was about love yourself, love your people, love your brother, love your everything.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T.
In the 70s, we had the safest community of all cultures in Black, African American. And then all of a sudden, I started hearing this violence and yucky stuff coming from us. I'm like, no, this is not us. And calling our little babies gang members. Somebody asked me when I was doing a training, there's a kindergartner that wants to be a gang member. No, there's not. It's not. There's a kindergartner trying to be you. This is just your lens of this young baby, right? And how he dressed. But on my trajectory to be a businesswoman, I was given messages that our young babies were running to the streets. So what did Dawn do, right? I was raised extra well. I love my ancestors, and they speak to me. And so I ran to the streets. I ran to the streets, and I did that through community centers. And when I got to the streets, there wasn't just me there. There were other Black males there. And those Black males grabbed me by the hand and taught me how to work these streets so some of our babies, we can send them to safety. And safety was supposed to be education. And then it so happens that pedagogy was hitting our kids in the head so hard that I then had to start fighting the education system and start training some of the young white emerging teachers. What you're seeing is not little gang babies. You're seeing different cultures come in front of you. You don't know what that is, so I'm going to help you with that. So it's just been about, I just have wanted to help people, and along the way I've needed more, and so I've gotten positions to try to get more. And I think, running for mayor means I know enough to run a city through, working for the city of Seattle in community centers. Community centers are just little cities, actually, what they are. And so through that experience, I thought, in order to advocate for our young Black and brown kids, I have to have more. So I started an organization called Multicultural Education Rights Alliance, because when I started fighting for education for Black kids, other cultures came and asked me, could I come and sit in on IEP meetings? Can I come and talk to the principal for them? Can I come and talk to Anzhane? Because Anzhane is
she came to my school. This is not a joke. Like
I did. I showed up at Anzhane's school because Anzhane's mother was one of my board members, and I'm like, I got your girl. Whatever she's going through, I got your girl. So Anzhane started fighting. I think can we say the school, Nathan Hale? I'm like, I'm here with you, girl. And so it's just getting connected to all of the fights and trying to find where our power lies, so we're able to fight. So we're not toolless. So there's some tools in our toolbox. So I've just been going around trying to just put little tools in people's toolboxes, and while I try to grab pieces of power. So my organization goes to Olympia, and we advocate for education. I am the vice president of Washington's Paramount Duty, where we fought for funding to get. We need counselors. We need to bring our family support worker system back. There's so much that keeps getting dismantled just while we're watching it right in front of our own eyes. And so I'm the one who said, I'm gonna fight. Sometimes I look back and there's nobody behind me other than the Anzhanes and the young people who are like, well, fight too. And I'm like, no, baby, wait.
A little army back here.
They didn't even have their boxing gloves on, and they were jumping in the ring.
They were jumping in. They're like, we're gonna fight with you. And I'm like, but it's not actual fight. It's we have to fight with our brains. And it's going really well because folks like Anzhane go to college, get themselves educated. And so I started my company. I have two. I started because a really big reason is because our Black and brown babies don't think that we are there for them. And what has happened is we have become powerless. So they can't see us fighting for them. So they think we're not there for them. And I'm like, oh, no, goddamn, yes, we are. But that really hurt my soul. And so I'm like, I have to do as much as I can to show our young people that are of all cultures, that all adults are there for them when they get into trouble. And when it comes to some specific Black things, we're absolutely there, because that's what I learned growing up in the 70s. Be there for your little sisters, be there for your little brothers, and have some brilliance to give them.
So Dawn, I mean, I love your passion, and
Thank you.
and I love the fact that you were an early influencer in Anjane's life, because you see the results of your good work.
I do, and I love it.
That has to be affirming to you that you were doing the right kind of work at the right time. What would you say in the education world? Are there a couple of things that you consistently saw the education system doing to Black and brown children that you were trying to correct? Can you just point to just a couple of indicators that you felt like you had to really go in there and address?
That's a really, really good question, because I have a really great answer. That our special ed system, in an already broken system, and our young people being thrown in there for no reason. When I was younger, I was in a school in Youngstown, Ohio, where they didn't do special ed. What they did is they understood that our Black kids learn differently. And so they had us in different groups, and the different learning style you had. There were two groups, and there's the elephants and the giraffes. And the giraffes learn different than they're different than the elephants. And so you get put in these two groups, and neither group can get further ahead than the other. In other words, no group is going to drag you down. We're going to just keep moving forward. So I thought, and by the way, that was just an experience. And so when they saw that they worked, more Black people did.
Okay, Dawn, I'm sorry, you were freezing a little bit there. So can you back up? Just after you started talking about the elephants and the giraffes, there was a little bit of a freeze that happened. And I think you said something important. You said neither group could get ahead of the other. And then could you pick up from there?
Can you hear me now? Am I frozen or?
You're better now.
I'm better now. Okay. So neither group could get ahead of the other. We just kept moving forward to educate us, right? And so no group could drag the other down. That's what I said. Now it's different. It's different. Kids get thrown out of class and thrown into special ed. That's been the big problem. So they dismantled. That was an experiment. So they dismantled it because it was working for predominantly Black kids, and so it was taken away. So that's what I said.
That's really important.
Yeah, go ahead, Anzhane.
Yeah, so Dawn, the IBJ, we just had our Freedom Summer Symposium, right? Which a little context on the IBJ, we're all about this intergenerational conversation, standing on top of the shoulders of the people that came before us, providing mentorship for young people and that leadership development. Everything that you're really talking about is everything that the IBJ is aligned with. Look, she's so busy, she's still working. Always working.
Okay. Hold on. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, but so you're, at the Freedom Summer Symposium, we had a keynote speaker that was talking all about, exactly what you're saying, how these systems are, these racist systems are built into our education system, and it separates young Black men, predominantly a lot of young Black women, young Black girls, and at an early age, it starts putting this idea in their head that they're not capable of, excelling through education, right? That, maybe the only way out of the hood is through a basketball, right? All of these messages. So I love that you were able to recognize. And then what I see a true leader is you stepped out of your pathway at the UW. You was about to go, probably be the next Storm player, the WNBA, okay? But you stepped into your leadership role, and I just admire you so much for that. And kids, we're not easy. Like, young Black kids, we are not, and not even just Black, because we know Seattle's a very diverse city, right? So I want to ask you, what do you think is about you that is able to connect so effectively with young adults? We need to get more young adults to be having these conversations and taking leadership roles, advocating, running for office, right? What is it about you that allows you to connect so well? Because some people, I tell you, Carol, you do a great job at connecting with us young folk too, but not everybody has the gift.
Yeah.
So please enlighten our audience that might be a little older looking to connect with young folks.
And maybe I can just, if I could, do a friendly reframe. Tell us old folks what we need to be doing to keep the young people engaged and listening.
I think it's a lot of patience, right? I had a lot of patience with young people. I think I swam in the energy of young people because I was taught at a young age that folks younger than you have to take care of you when you're older. So you better take care of you. And so, because we took care of my mom and my grandmother as they passed away, right? And it was a beautiful thing, all the messages that came through that, right? All the stories that they told. But I think it's because I was really told a lot of great stories about the power of our people and the history. I know the history of our people, and it had a lot to do with the older generation taking really good care of us. That's the only thing, and so that's what I learned, and so that's what I did.
I love that. That just gave me a nice warm feeling that we have no right to criticize the state of the lives of young adults when we have not taken our responsibility to take care of them seriously. Right. Any deficiencies that they hold, we have to take some responsibility for, because it was our job to take care of them and to set them up for success. So wherever they're weak, that's partly on us and maybe partly on them to sort out what the purpose is for their life. You apparently, because I know you're busy and we want to make sure we get this in, you are about to launch a whole new direction.
Yeah.
Another way of working out your own purpose for living. So what are you doing in Kent right now?
I know. What the hell am I doing? I think it was just time for me to do something else, get out of the way for the Anzhanes in the world. Some of the young men and the young women are doing amazing things. I've done enough, right? I've had a lot of fun helping raise other people's kids. And so now, and I'm full. I'm so full. And so now I can take on a bigger job because these young people filled me up. And not only did they do well for themselves, they did what I was doing. They've reached back and started helping and fighting. These young people are fighting like heck. I like to think that I did some of that. I did some of that. I instilled some of that, some of this fight, right? Some of these young people are going to vote because they know the importance of voting. And so it's time now for me to go and be the mayor of a city so they can have a place where they can go and take space. And it's okay. And take space with other cultures, take space alongside white. I grew up with white folks. It was not a problem, right? There's only a problem when folks started trying to stop me from doing stuff because of the racist systems. That's when there is a problem. But with my friends and with my coworkers, there's no problems there. So I tell folks all the time, having a Black mayor doesn't mean there's less that's going to happen for white people. It just means more is going to happen for all. So that it's time for me to do that.
I love that.
We Anzhane and I are constantly expressing to folks that when we prioritize Black people who historically have borne, I would say, along with indigenous families, have borne the weight of the entire economic system of the United States on their shoulders. When we unburden Black folk, that helps everybody rise. So we just prioritize Black families and Black young adults because they've had to carry that weight, and we're just trying to unburden them so they can live into that great purpose like what you've done, Dawn. So you're running for mayor. We can't vote for you, we can't do endorsements, but people, money can flow from anywhere, right?
That's right. That's right. So folks can go to dawnformayor.com to donate, DAWNFORMAYOR.com. And they can donate, they can volunteer we're going to soon go door knocking. We're going to go out to Kent and talk to the people and let people know I'm super skilled, and there's some policies that we need in place so we can be comfortable in Kent that are not in place right now.
Well, I have a granddaughter in the Kent School District, so I'm very much, it's one of the reasons why I am very much interested in who is going to be the mayor of Kent.
Thank you.
To that race. So Anzhane, do you want to wrap up? Because I know Dawn has just carved out this time for us, and we're really grateful for it, Dawn. Thank you very much.
So grateful, Dawn, for having you join us today. Wow, this conversation,
I'm so proud to be with you. I'm just proud to be with you.
I'm gonna see you on Sunday. I know I can't vote in Kent, but I'm gonna help get the word out because Dawn is the real deal. Like, she doesn't just fight for Black people, she fights for justice and equality across the board. Like, everyone needs a champion in their cities, somebody that's gonna stand up to these bullies, these corporations, okay? And that is gonna be Dawn. So thank you so much. I'm so grateful to have you in my life. I mean, we could talk on and on and on. But I know you don't have the time. So thank you so much again for coming by. We got to stay connected. We want to know what you're doing. So please keep up with IBJ. We're on Instagram, Facebook. We're not on Snapchat, but we're on YouTube. So check out our previous podcast episodes. And we hope to see you out here in the community. And of course, in the downtown city of Kent office. Okay, Mayor Bennett.
Thank you.
Let's go. Thank you so much, Dawn. You have a great rest of your day. We're going to close out with our audience, but we wish you nothing but good fortune and, of course, a W in the city of Kent.
And I'm so proud of you, Anjane. I am so proud. So thank you for having me, and thank you for being in my life.
Oh,
bye, Dawn.
Love you, Dawn. See ya.
Bye, guys.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That just warmed my heart. Like my heart is just beating like this. I'm so excited for Kent. I wish I lived in Kent, honestly, but we have a good election coming up here in Tacoma too. We got some more strong Black women that are, fighting to lead this city in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have more Black women running for office, including school board, than I've ever seen in my time in Tacoma and Pierce counties. So I think our odds are pretty good. We've got Kiara Daniels and Ann Artman running for Tacoma City Council. We've got Ethelda Burke and Alicia Cunningham running for the University Place School Board.
Jamaica Scott
and Victoria Woodards running for mayor. How about our beautiful purple hair?
Yes, Chelsea McElroy. She's running unopposed, so that seat is secured.
Secured. She is going to be on the Tacoma School Board. And then my friend from graduate school, Rosie Ayala, is running for Metro Parks Commissioner. And
wow.
I can't vote for any of those people, but I can tell you that our odds are really good that if any of them gets elected, they're going to take our city, our county, our school boards up a notch. Now, you know, I was acting out real quickly before we close. I was acting out on Twitter because.
Did you change your tag name to?
No. I was acting out on Twitter because this past week, our county council's Human Services Committee brought forward 2 policies related to diversity, equity, and inclusion in the county. And I just had to react to the fact that we have an executive who's been in office for 5 years now, who needs another year to get a DEI policy in place.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, really?
Can you say kicking the can down the road? Is that what you folks say?
Can you say lack of commitment? Because anything you're committed to, can I even just for a moment vent the first year that exec was in office, the things we got done around behavioral health, it was a miracle. Why? Because that's something they really wanted to do. And so anything they really want to do, it actually gets done. So I want people to pay attention. They're going to bring back a proposal that would establish a county equity index. It's very similar to what the city of Tacoma has done, as well as King County, where they look at certain indicators, some economic, some social, some justice indicators, to figure out how are we doing, what impact are our policies and decisions having on certain communities. So there's the index. And then second, it's to stand up a publicly involved equity committee of some sort. I don't know what their official title is now. And those 2 things apparently are going to take the exec until next August to figure out how to get it done. And listen, the thing sunsets at some point in 2023. I mean, it's like as soon as you get it stood up, it's going to sunset. So I'm encouraging our audience to pay close attention to Pierce County's Human Services Committee's resolutions around DEI. They're supposed to come back, I think, in 2 Tuesdays. It was supposed to come back on the 26th or 7th, whatever that date is that they meet. But just pay close attention to those initiatives around DEI. Pay close attention to whether or not the county executive vetoes that resolution when it comes to him for signature and sends it back, because if he vetoes that resolution, then there have to be 5 council members who vote in favor of it when it comes back. And the dialogue that I heard, it sounds like it's fairly bipartisan, at least in the Human Services. Well, no, the entire county council was present at that meeting. So it sounded fairly bipartisan, with Brian Mello and council member Dave Morrell it sounded like the two of them had crafted a bipartisan proposal. They're tweaking it. It's going to come back, but we need to pay attention to it to make sure it actually gets passed.
Right.
And my question for the county review, can the first question be, why do we have an all-white executive department and an all-white council? Let's look at that as an indicator of where we are with respect to DEI. Because to me, like with Dawn
That's not
Bennett,
very diverse.
who we got in leadership tells you a lot about whose values and opinions and interests are prioritized by our governmental system. So that's why it's so important to vote. That's why we care that Black women are running, because we know that they will bring that perspective to bear on the decisions that our cities and our school boards are making. Okay, off my soapbox. So good.
Thank you, Carol, though, because I had no idea that was going on. You know, when people put out, well, one, I feel like the index alone, you know, we have a lot, we probably don't even need an index in order to know where the issues lie. We've been voicing them, our opinions. Community, especially in this last year, has been very vocal about what the disparities that are out here amongst the midst of the pandemic. But, I believe in data. So sure, you need the index, but we at least need to prolong the sunset, because what kind of work is really going to be done on a committee if as soon as it stood up 6 months later, it sunsets, or even a year later, it sunsets.
What does that say? We're going to stop caring about DEI after 2023? And when you sunset something, it means you have done everything you needed to do to discover what the issues are and get them resolved. I don't think that's going to happen by 2023. Unless that county council looks a lot different than it does today, and that exec department looks a lot different than it does today. Those are my two indicators of whether or not your DEI policy is working. You're going to have some more faces of color sitting in the executive suite, sitting in the department head positions of the county, and you're going to have more faces of color sitting on that county council. When you get that done, you will shut my mouth on Twitter.
Well, get it done, Pierce County. If you heard it from Carol yourself, if you want,
get her done.
Get her done. Well,
get more Dawn Bennett's, right? More Dawn Bennett's in the mix.
Yes, more Dawn Bennett's. She's also running aside Cliff. I believe his last name is Hawthorne. Please don't kill me if I pronounce that wrong. He's a Black man running for city council in Kent as well. So we got people all over that are trying to make an impact, and I just want to see this trend continue. I want to see in the next Pierce County election or county council election, we get some more people of color to run for those seats, right? Let's carry this movement. This isn't just over with this mayoral election. It's not over with just the city councils. It's not over with the school boards. We need to really be in leadership roles across the board. Because our counties, as you can see, have a huge impact on a lot of our social and economic, lives, right? So that's my soapbox.
Well, and I'm bribing my family. I'm throwing a vote together gathering, a Sunday brunch, vote together, bring your ballot. And I've got the voter pamphlet. We're all going to talk it out, and they will leave here with a completed ballot. Listen, if you want to mail it, I'll give you a stamp, or we can drop them off in the drop box for you. But I want every young adult I know to get their ballot completed. And I'm willing to.
I might have to think about doing something like that with my age group.
You should just have a little, it's an excuse to get everybody together on a Sunday afternoon for a little barbecue.
Yeah, brunch and ballots. I like it.
Vote together. I encourage everybody to do a vote together lunch or a vote together dinner and have everybody bring their ballot and just get it done. Give them a stamp if they want a stamp, or, encourage them to drop them in the drop box together.
Right, we can take a party bus to the ballot drop-off.
Yep, caravan. You can all caravan to the drop box. Now, don't be drinking and driving.
No, we do not promote drinking and driving.
No.
All right, Carol, we got to wrap up this show because we've held our audience long enough. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for the last couple weeks as we've been taking a small sciatica to catch up on sleep. But we are happy and energized and back. So we'll catch you guys all next week with another topic from the Black Robe podcast. All right, have a great rest of your night.